Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Aaron Smith here. So I'm about to go on a bike ride, and this bike ride is special because it's the same route. I'm gonna take the same route that I took when I had my accident, when a man ran me off the road at night, came at me without his headlights, broke my leg, and gave me a complex ankle fracture called a trimalleolar ankle fracture. It basically broke 3 very important bones in the ankle. So it hasn't even been 9 weeks since that happened. It's been a little over 8 weeks. And so I'm gonna give y'all a look at my setup here. So, you know, everybody knows I'm missing a leg. And so I've got my artificial leg right here. This is my bicycle. Got my cell phone, and for navigation, got this light. Even though it's daytime, people, you know, they're still more likely to see you when you have a light, which wasn't really beneficial at all when the man hit me, because he saw the light and he came towards it. He was trying to hit me. So this is the leg that I broke, and the ankle, it hurts. It's not at full strength, but I'm ready to do this, and it's something that I just want to conquer. I want to get it out of the way because it's been bothering me all this time that I never finished my bicycle ride that I started. So without further ado, let's get going. Y'all come with me. All right, we're off. Until I learn how to edit these videos better, I'm just gonna clip out some of it. I would fast forward it, but I just don't have those editing tools to be able to fast forward sections of the video for this ride. So, got an overcast, so we won't get a sunburn. I'm gonna turn on my GPS here. It's called Strava. Start. Okay, we are tracking this ride. So far, I've gone 83 miles this week. No, 63 miles. So I want to get up to 80 miles for the week. Today's Sunday is the last day of the week. That's what we're looking for, improvement. A lot of peaks and valleys to get there, but can't crawl through those valleys and you can't enjoy those peaks. Kind of windy, not too bad. I got a crosswind / headwind right now. Well, you get all the bad things about the wind, the headwinds, but you get all the benefits too on the way back. So ideally, you would want to just pick one point, starting destination, and ride a tailwind all the way to the end. But I never get to do that because I always end my bicycle rides in the same place I start them. So don't really get to cheat like that, you know, to just ride a tailwind for an entire ride. That would be great. I could do 300 miles in a day if I could just get a tailwind to push me. Got the sail barn over here. Back into the sail barn. Front of it's way over there, but they keep their horses and cows here throughout the week and then sell them, I guess, on Friday. So we're crossing the railroad. No trains that way, none back that way. This railroad, and now we're done crossing railroad tracks. So we're passing Noah's Ark Animal Shelter. Open most days of the week. Today's Sunday, so they're not open now. All right, now it turns to gravel right here. Right here. All right, we're starting to level out. Got a big solar farm over there out there, solar panels. They're not harvesting a whole lot of sunlight today. Still climbing. Now right at the peak of the hill, this is where you can see the solar farm a little better, their entrance. Right there, all the solar panels. Got a cemetery over here. I've got a few relatives buried in this cemetery. It's right here on the other side of the fence. All right, so we're coming up on a busy road here. We'll have to slow down and wait for traffic. This is actually an extension of Grand Avenue coming out of town. Close to Highway 35 right over here. Okay, so now the traffic, we should be able to make an assessment. We're gonna just continue straight across. All right, we can go. We're clear enough. Whew. Got this little hill to climb. But yeah, so it was 18 days after the accident that they did surgery, and so your healing starts when they do surgery, the healing that counts for the bone. And it's been 8 weeks and 5 days since that surgery. Oh, this cycling, it's really made a huge difference. Sometimes at night, when I'm riding my bicycle here, there are geese, especially this time of year, snow geese and Canadian geese, that like to spend the night out in these fields. And because I've got a headlamp on when I'm riding at night, I shine it out there and I can see them. And they can see me. Sometimes they take off when I do that, but it's funny what you see at night. There's a lot more wildlife around here than you would think, because they'll come flying in late in the evening and spend the night in one of these fields where you would never see that during the day. But I've seen hundreds of snow geese and Canada geese in these fields right here on either side of me at night. Woo! Feeling the burn up this hill against the wind. Woohoo! Stark Ranch truck, that was probably Chuck Ryder. I apologize for how this wind must sound. It's really blowing in my face. Nothing I can do about that. So this is pretty mild gravel. This is what I started out on. A lot of that stuff near Marysville is where, and north of Munster and St. Joe, that's where the real challenging gravel is because of the hills. Right here, we don't have many hills at all. And what we do have is not that steep. If it is steep, it's not that tall. So it's a perfect place to start, get my strength back. All right. Now we're not so much into the headwind. We got a little crosswind. Still headwind, but more of a crosswind. Uh-oh, here comes a little boxer. Hey girl, you're a pretty girl. She's got big boobies. I think she's had another litter of pups. Last time she did that was like a year ago. A bunch of little pups came running after her. I know those pups aren't around anymore. Her tits are still dragging the ground, so she must have had another litter. Some Black Angus out there. Those are either Stark Ranch cattle or Anderley cattle. Anderley Farm is right here on this corner. They've got a bunch of beautiful Red Angus cattle though, so I suspect that's Stark Ranch, but I don't know. Old toll bridge road. So that road leads down to what, back in the olden days, before there were any other bridges, there was a toll bridge right there. So that was back when Bonnie and Clyde were terrorizing everybody in the 20s. They took that toll bridge road. I think there was a ferry there. I don't even know, but they would take a ferry across. Maybe the toll bridge road came after the ferry. I don't even know the history of that. So we got some beautiful Red Angus cattle out here. Now we're starting to be able to look over the bluff or down, you know, into Oklahoma. Oklahoma's over there. It's foggy over there. I can see Windstar Casino, but there's a lot of fog, so you can't really see it that well. Y'all might not be able to see it on video. Climbing, a lot of climbing. Low grade climbing, manageable climbing. All right, so this is where you can see Windstar the best. It's in that valley. It's just, there's fog over there, but I see the water tower, the casino, the hotels around the casino. Every building connected to that casino is right over there. So more Red Angus, some bulls. Hey woolly bully, hey woolly bullies. This is smooth packed mud right here, just a little bit. Now we're back on rocks. Oh, it's real bumpy right here. Washboarded out. So now I'm gonna put my pole down here. This is how we're gonna climb it. Ah. Boy, they put the rocks down on it. Whoa. Oh, this is as hard as it's ever been. Oh, because of the rocks being so loose. Ah, boy, way to give me a challenge when it's gonna challenge me the most. All right, we made it through the worst of it. Yeehaw, that's great. Delighted to have made that one. Made it up that one. The rocks weren't as loose. I mean, they just dropped the rocks down on that hill. It must have washboarded out really badly, so it makes it harder to climb on a bicycle. But I did it. That's a big confidence boost to be able to do that on those kind of deep, loose rocks. Confidence on this new ankle. I could look at it as an old broken ankle. I look at it as a new born again ankle. It's just got to gain its strength. It's just a baby. It's got to learn the ropes again. My job is to teach it. Teach it without breaking it. All right, so we got these two roads that split right here. Run parallel to each other. That's kind of neat. You don't see that every day. Different property owners though, so they want their own roads. It's understandable. Don't want to share their roads. blowing. Hopefully we can beat the rain. It's storming. The storms. Get home before that bottom drops out of the sky. A lot of loose rock. I bet they poured it up on this hill too, so just my luck, it'll be real thick and deep on the climb. Yeah. Yeah, it's really, right here it starts to get loose. See that? It's a lot of loose gravel. Oh, sand and gravel. Whew. All right, so now it's about to get steep and I'm gonna use the trekking pole. So I'll put the pole down now, like that. I'm gonna climb these loose rocks. Man, they put the loose stuff right where it's the most difficult to handle. Ha. Whoa, crap. All right, so I had to stop. Drop my pole. It got caught on the handle of my bike. So now I've got it, and I'm just gonna, can't really mount the bike climbing like this. This is what I didn't want to happen, because the ankle is so unprepared to just do this. But I'm leaning on the bike so it can handle it. This is gonna be kind of slow. Kind of push forward with the rear leg a little bit, put on the brakes, move the rear leg up, push forward, put on the brakes, move the rear leg up, push forward. So that'll get me up the hill until I can get going, get the momentum enough to get going without having my feet on the ground, pedal the bike. Whoa. Good physical therapy. Climbing this hill, real steep. It's not nearly as bad as some of the stuff I've done or that I will do again. It's just, this is where I'm at. Combination of factors is so loose. I've got a broken ankle, and the strap on this trekking pole right here, it got caught on my brake, and so I was trying to pull back, it did that, and I let go, it fell. So that was a combination of factors prevented me from powering up this hill without walking. Whoa. Almost to the top. Not even gonna have to get off the bike. Whoa. Oh, and we got a headwind, so everything was going against me on this climb. Oh, but we still made it, didn't we? We're there, we made it. So I'm going to put the trekking pole down here, the other foot on the bike, on the pedal, start pedaling. All right, we're on. It's on. Oh my gosh, this is just such loose gravel. That's just part of it though, boys and girls. You're gonna have some loose gravel. So that's why it's important to train. Learn to deal with it. Now it's not loose, and we're going downhill. Bent Rock Ranch. I don't know who lives there. Nice little house. There aren't any other houses around it, so they've got some privacy. What do we got in the road right here? Oh, that's a squirrel. Okay. Just a little squirrely squirrel. The good thing about having this camera up on my head is that y'all don't really get to feel the vibrations like you would if it was mounted on my handlebars. If it's mounted anywhere on the frame of the bike, this gravel will make it loud and very bumpy. Having it on my head, you know, the hard thing about it is just having enough battery power up there on my head to power this thing through a 10-mile or 10-hour bicycle ride. And that's what I'm learning how to do. Right now I've got an external charger taped onto my helmet behind the camera to give it enough power to make it through this ride, but I'll figure it out and get it to where I can go 10 hours or more. And then the preferred location is the helmet, because I can direct my gaze at whatever I'm interested in, whatever I want you to see, the camera follows. If it's mounted on the bike, it's just a stationary view that I can't really change without changing the direction of the bike. A lot of things I want to look at, but the bike's not necessarily facing. Okay, so we've got quite a climb right here, and sure enough, they've made it marbly. They put all these big rocks. It's kind of hard packed underneath the big rocks, which makes them roll around on that hard packed undersurface like marbles. So on a turn, you really wipe out, you really crash if you're not prepared for your momentum to just go sliding out on those marbles out from under you. A lot of good professional racers have suffered the consequences of underestimating a marbly turn. It's one thing I've got going in my favor is, like, as a professional racer, you want to speed around these turns, but if you do, you're gonna risk falling. I gotta kind of go slow on these turns, especially when it's a climb like this, and so it gives me more time to process what I'm going over, what it's going to do under me. Without that speed, it's not as likely to go out from under me anyway, but when I can process what's going on so quickly and I'm going so slowly, then that makes for a safer riding experience. Now we are climbing. We've got a slight tailwind though, mainly a crosswind. About as steep as it's going to get right here. I'm going to take the trekking pole. All right, we're about at the top. Boom. Here we are, here we are. We made it. I mean, we didn't make it, but I can see the top. I can see over the top. So pretty soon, won't have to pedal as hard. Right now we're at the top, right at the peak of this hill. Now we're going downhill. I'm gonna stand up a little bit, resituate my derriere on this nice fine leather saddle. Now I feel my butt feels like a new derriere, new butt. Feel good now. You know, when I started this ride, it kind of hurt, but now it's used to it. Now it's warmed up. I could go, the rear end could handle a long way now, but the ankle is what can't handle going too far. And as I said earlier, the socket, got to get loose some weight so I fit into that socket better, even as it swells, even as the residual limb swells. Oh, this feels great. I'm pedaling, but I don't really need to. Just kind of glide down this hill. This is some beautiful country and gravel really close to Gainesville, so when I'm gonna just do a 15-20 mile ride, this is where I go, right here. If I start going farther, 25-30 miles, then I bypass this particular road. Usually, unless I'm doing laps. When I trained for that hotter than hell Chupacabra 200, I actually did train right here. I did laps. I would come out here and do 5, 6, 7, 8 laps around this circle this road is included in that circle. Kept me close to town because it was so hot in the summertime. So I was close enough to where I could bail or go get water whenever I needed to, not have to go too far. Alrighty. Now we're climbing again, but we've already got some momentum. Now we're losing that momentum. All right, we made it to the top of this hill. All right, we're clear. Gotta watch around these curves, can't get complacent because the car could come flying around. Luckily, if you just hold your head up high and look, you can see what's coming. And in this case today, there's nothing coming around these hills, around these turns. All right, we got a car coming. Gonna get over here to the right. They've got their lights on, so that'll tell you it's kind of overcast. Pretty dry, but a lot of times that's how these gravel roads are. I mean, unless it's just like pouring down rain, it's not going to be muddy. That moisture leaches through this gravel pretty fast. It only takes a couple of hours after rain before it dry out, depending on how much rain. Got some horses over here. Yeah, this crosswind is turning into a bit of a headwind again. It's just kind of shifting on me. Never know what the wind's gonna do. It can help you the whole way, or it can be in your face the whole way sometime. But it's gonna help me pretty soon. Got to. We got some pavement for a little while. Look at these longhorn cattle, longhorn steers, I guess. Cows, bulls. I think they're steers. I don't see any big packages hanging down from their rear ends, so they're steers. Here's a little red car. All right, we're pretty much at the top of this hill, ladies and gentlemen. That was pretty simple. Pretty simple, just had to be patient. I see a big red-tailed hawk perched up there on the railing around that water tower over to the right. All right, well, that was some predictable pavement. Nice pavement there. Now we're back on the gravel. Got a lot of horses out here to the right. Got somebody parked here to the left. Nobody's in the cab of that vehicle, so I'd probably jump the fence or the gate. Hey, horse, we got a little horse run. All right, so now got some mean dogs up here, or there were, you know, months ago, so hopefully they're not there anymore. I'm gonna get over here to this side of the road, give them their space. Well, they weren't out today. That's good. So we're gonna take a right at this T up here. This is the road where the guy tried to kill me, ran me into the ditch. I'll show y'all right where it happened as best I can remember. It's gonna be like 2 or 3 miles from here, but when we turn right, we'll be on the right road where it happened. If I can just get through that place, get on home, then in my mind, I'll have conquered any fear that incident may have left as a residual effect. All right, so now I'm just gonna kind of cruise on down this hill. Man, we've got headwinds again. Yeah, the wind, it definitely shifted on us. It shifted on us, y'all. All right, we got a car coming up behind me. Yeah, this individual is wearing a face mask. That's Brenda Anderley. Hey Brenda, you may see this video. I recognize you. Just want you to know that. Yeah, this is my first ride on this route where I was hit by a man from Arkansas driving a dark brown minivan just up on the other side of that hill where Brenda is. He came at me head on. I was on the correct side of the road, meaning I was over here. He was oncoming over there, and he didn't have his lights on, and it was dark. It was night, which, you know, I wear headlamps and lights on my bike so that I can be visible, but it was a double-edged sword that night because this man decided that since he could see me, he should run me over, and that's what he tried to do when he came onto my side of the road and forced me into the ditch. If I had been right here, stayed right here, he would have hit me head on. He would have run over me, and he would have kept going and never looked back. And he didn't have license plates. He wasn't from this state. Our county sheriff's deputies would have never found him. I would be dead. No one would know why or who did it. But thanks to my quick thinking and ability to outmaneuver this individual, I was able to save my life and break my leg and ankle, which is now just healed up enough to where I feel confident enough to attempt this same route again and conquer that fear that's on the other side of this hill. And I'll kind of explain to y'all what happened as I remember it. But keep in mind, I just was on a regular ride when it happened. It happened about down there where that light, where that vehicle is. You see the lights? That's about where it happened. So I'll tell you when I get down there how it kind of unfolded, or I'll try to tell you as I can remember it. Nobody's coming from behind. So see, normal people get on the other side of the road like this person's doing and give me plenty of space. They don't try to kill me. That's what most people do. Same individual wearing their mask right there. So it was dark. It was about 9 o'clock, pitch dark. I had my headlamp on, had my lights on my bike on, blinking, and I'm riding right here. This is how it went down, I'm telling y'all. But it was right up here before I got to this tree that I see a shadow moving up in the darkness, weaving back and forth, and that was this vehicle. And I realized, oh crud, this is somebody driving without their headlights on at night in a dark car with nothing reflective. Like my headlamp didn't reflect off of this vehicle at all. And so I moved over as far to the right as I could, and as it weaved around, it moved over on its side, and for a moment I thought I was going to be okay until the guy moved over into my lane, accelerated at me, and then right as he was about to hit me, I got as far over as I could, thinking that he would veer back into his lane, but instead he came even at me that much more, turned his blinker on, which was the first light I had seen up to this point, like he was going to turn right into me right here. There's no roads right here, it's just me. So I bailed into the ditch right here, crashed. He got about, you know, he got right up to the edge, and so I had to bail into the ditch. And he drove down the road and then backed up, came and looked at me for a while, and I don't know what his intentions were, to tell you the truth. It may have been to try to finish me off. He may have been trying to kill me, but he had a change of heart, and I asked him to help me. Now, why did he have a change of heart? Was it because he feared me, or was it because he felt sorry for me? Well, I think it was because he was afraid. But I told him I needed his help. He told me he needed to go, and I said, I've got a broken leg, I need your help now. And so he got out of his car, And he stayed there with me while I called for help. But there's no excuse for somebody to be riding around without their headlights on at night, trying to hit cyclists head on. And apparently the sheriff's deputies came out. I was already in the ambulance, gone by the time they got there. They questioned him. He said that he just was driving by and I fell over. Well, that never happens. I wouldn't just fall over unless somebody's trying to kill me, which all evidence pointed to that's what he was trying to do. So they dropped the ball. They took pictures of the road. They said, well, we don't see any tracks to indicate that he swerved at you. Well, we see your tracks over in the ditch. Well, guess what? In the ditch, the gravel was loose. On the road, it was hard packed like this. You don't see tracks. You saw my tracks because my bicycle left tracks in the loose gravel that was on the side of the road. But up on the road where he tried to hit me, where I had to dodge away from, you couldn't see his tracks or my tracks any more than anybody else's tracks. It was just like this, you know? So that was irritating that the sheriff's deputies, I heard in their report that they were like, oh, we didn't see any tracks to indicate that they didn't swerve at him and knock him off the road. The guy came at me head on in my lane. So that's why I need to have this camera on to tell these stories with, you know, with evidence and proof in the future. Because I've had other people do some aggressive things in the past. I've had people come at me head on and try to hit me. I've had people pull in front of me, stop their vehicle and then peel out trying to throw rocks in my face. So I just need to get the video camera on it. So that was a real confidence boost. I made it past the area where it happened. I relived it in my mind and I successfully did it again without having the fear of it happening again. So that was great. Thank y'all for coming along with me for that portion of this ride. If you want, you can continue on with me until I get home. Should get some tailwinds as soon as I turn left. It should be tailwinds and crosswinds all the way home from here. Oh, they're going to talk.
Hi.
Hey, how are you doing, Ledbetter? Good to see you.
Good to see you. You going on another long ride?
This is the first ride I've done since I had my accident and broke my leg and ankle.
I kept up with you.
Well, it's the first ride on this route. This is the route where the accident happened, back over there. And so I was able to get past that point in the road without the fear, you know.
Bless your heart.
So I was just like, okay, I gotta conquer that fear because it hadn't even been 9 weeks since surgery. And so I went past the same point and kind of relived it in my mind and then succeeded in moving past it. And now I'm just going home, so.
Well, good for you. Well, I kept up with you, so I'm so glad you're better.
Thank you so much. It's good seeing you. All right, you too. Take care. Bye-bye. She's a great person, really nice. I met her out here doing these rides. She lives on this route, so. I think she went to high school at the same time as me, maybe a grade or two behind me. I don't know, but nice individual. Always stops and asks me how I'm doing instead of trying to plow me over and kill me. That's always nice, you know. Totally opposite end of the spectrum. Opposite ends of the spectrum, kind of the people you run out into out here, so. It can be nice, it can be mean, being everything in between. People can be, so. Alrighty, so we're gonna turn left and we're back on North Weaver Street. But yeah, I ran into two really nice people on this route, Ledbetter, and then Brenda Anderley passed. She stopped sometimes. One day I was riding and it was 115 degrees outside. And I was just stopped under a tree just trying to get some shade. And she stopped and asked me if I was okay, which is really nice because she could have gone and got me water, which I didn't need, but she offered to do that. So it's really nice. That's why I like these gravel roads. Most people are really nice, but just sometimes you get some people out here that they think they don't have to follow the law out on these gravel roads. And they think they can just do whatever they want like it's the Wild West. So I gotta be ready for that. It's not easy to be ready for that sometimes, you know, on a bicycle, because you got all that power up against you. If they try to use their vehicle as a weapon, if they try to weaponize it against you, then that's hard to fight. It really is. But you know, we gotta take risks every day in our lives. Everybody does. And some people look at the risks I take and they think, oh wow, that's just too much. It's just an unnecessary risk. But there's a lot of risks other people take that they're saying this to me, and I'm thinking the same thing about the risks they take every day. I'm thinking, wow, you know, it would be, that's not a risk I would take with my life, whatever it is they're doing, you know. So we all have different priorities. It's what the story is at the end of the day. And so I've got the priority of not getting hit right now. Let's slow down a little bit. Stop. Okay. Now we don't have any cars. Busy road with no traffic. Got to take advantage of that and get across. All right. We made it. That's the busiest road on this whole route. Hey, Uncle Jimmy. I see my Uncle Jimmy's grave over there. Great man. I'm sure there's lots of great men who I'm descended from, but that's one who I got to know. He's always so patient with me as a kid, and then with my children, they got to meet him before he passed away, or at least my oldest daughter and my son, oldest two, got to meet him. So we will forever remember Jimmy Kroll. We loved Uncle Jimmy. We got a helicopter right here. I don't know if that's a care flight. It may be. It looks kind of to me like it is a care flight. So prayers for whoever's on that helicopter if they're being rushed to a hospital. It kind of looks like it's weaving around, changing directions. I don't know. Care flight, it looks like a care flight helicopter, but I'm used to seeing care flight helicopters move with a little more urgency than that one seems to be moving with right now. But yeah, so it's basically going in a circle. It started out over there, came this way, now it's going back that way. So I don't know what it's doing. So better look at the solar panel farm. It goes way back there. You don't know these solar panel farms are there until you're right up on them. As opposed to the windmill farms, you can see them from miles away. You know, I could see the windmills in Munster from where I was on this route. Back there by that horse farm that we passed, up on that hill, I could look over to the right and I could see the windmill farms northwest of Munster from there. So, I mean, you can see those from a long way. Solar farms, they're on the ground. You gotta be right there to see them. Noah's Ark. Good people trying to save those animals. At the beginning of the coronavirus recession, I noticed so many people giving up their pets. And now the opposite is happening. Everyone wants pets. It's like, okay, now, at first it was like, oh, I can't afford this pet in my life. And now people are like, okay, I don't care how broke I am, I'm lonely. I can't go out and interact with people. I need my dog. I need a dog or a pet to keep me company. And so prices, you know, I've been doing the research, the prices of puppies going way up right now, like going into Christmas. If you want a puppy, you're gonna have to pay more than you've ever had to pay. Like for purebred, well-bred dogs, the prices are higher than they've ever been. That's why if Bella was old enough, I would breed her and let her have puppies, but she's 17 months old. She's been through one heat cycle, and that's when they can get pregnant, during a heat cycle. I'm gonna let her go through her second heat cycle and then wait till her third heat cycle, which will be after she's over 2 years old. Then, only then will I breed her if I find the perfect male German Shepherd that I really like. But then again, you know, I don't really need to breed her. She's just a good dog that I find to be a completely useful service dog. She'll pull me around in my wheelchair. She'll pick things up for me. She just is well behaved in public. Very impressive dog. Another thing that happened, you know, I don't just ride my bicycle now. In the condition my leg is in, not being able to get out and run or walk much, I still use the wheelchair, and I may continue to use the wheelchair from now on, just because it allows me to still get exercise, upper body exercise, when my legs are out of commission, whether from an injury like this or just from being tired from training. So she's always useful for that, because she pulls me and I push, which allows me to just cover more distance. I still get my workout, she gets her workout, and we cover a lot of distance together. And so one thing that happened last week was this guy came up to me, a homeless, he looked homeless or desperate. He looked desperate. He was like slapping himself and talking to himself, shaking his head. Looked like he hadn't taken a bath in months. He came up to me, and I don't know what he was gonna do, but he stopped in his tracks when he noticed Bella looking at him. And he said, "Does that dog bite?" And I didn't skip a beat. I said, "Yes, this dog does bite." Because why would he care if the dog bites unless he's gonna come right up to me and get into my space during a pandemic? So I said, "Yeah, she bites. She doesn't bite me. She knows me, but she might bite you." And so he backed away, and that's just what I wanted him to do. To tell you the truth, I didn't want to find out what this guy wanted to say to me right up in my face. If he had something to say, he could say it far out there where he was, you know, not like right up on me. But yeah, Bella will bite. She will bite, so people don't need to be coming up. She's a service dog. She's doing a job for somebody she knows. She doesn't like to be surprised by people. She will bite. So the only way she won't bite is if I tell her not to, and you listen to me, and you come up to her very slowly, where she can see you, where she's not surprised, and you extend your hand out so that she can come up and sniff your hand. But if she's backing up and you rush up into her space, she could bite. She could get scared. She's a big dog, a big German Shepherd, and they are naturally protective dogs of their owners. They only bond to a few people. They're aloof with strangers, and so you don't want to just come barging into their space. That goes for any German Shepherd. My dog is no different. She's just got breed characteristics that make her a good watchdog, in addition to being a good service dog. So, all right, now we're going to turn left here. See how far we've gone. We've gone 14.76 miles. The fire station. This is really the main police station and fire station as far as I'm concerned. This is where law enforcement happens, right here. When I was a kid, this didn't exist, and so there was a lot of crime in this end of town just because there was no law enforcement presence. I would love to see law enforcement get out here on bicycles too, get through these neighborhoods on bikes like I'm doing, because I think they're gonna find not only more crime, but they're gonna find more friends too, because when you're out on a bike, if people can see you, you're much more approachable than you are in a car. And you can ride up to some people and talk to them and develop relationships and confidence with the community. On a bike, I really can't think of a better way to patrol this town I would be, you know, if I was a police officer, which maybe I'll get to be a police officer someday, but I would want to patrol on a bicycle because there's just so many benefits to doing that. There's a certain amount of stealth. There's no sound. You're gonna see what's going on better, and people are gonna see you better. And if they're good people, they're gonna trust you. They're gonna talk to you. You can just stop your bike, have a conversation. I know you can do that in a car, but there's something less intimidating and more trustworthy about a police officer on a bicycle for everybody. Everybody feels that way. That's why they do it in big towns, bigger cities. That's why some cities that are smaller than this do it. How are you doing? Good. All right, so we got 15 miles in. I really want to get 2 more miles in before we stop. But I don't know, I think I'm just gonna, we'll just see. I may just get those 2 extra miles or extra half mile or whatever, so that I have 80 miles even. I may get that later on today, this evening. I mean, I've already gone over 15 miles and I needed 17 miles. So by the time I get home, it might be 16 miles instead of 17. I'll just do that extra mile later on this evening. The main deal today was just to do that same route. This is the route I had planned, and that got disrupted by the accident that occurred that broke my leg, and now we've completed it. Completed the mission. Up until now, there's been something that was left undone that has now been finished. Oh right, they got their chickens out in the yard today. Look at these beautiful chickens. The rooster up there on the porch, Silver-Laced Wyandottes, several breeds. I think we had like, shoot, I forget some of my chicken breeds. I look at them and Barred Rock. They had a Barred Rock hen out there. Father Nicholas, he's a priest. He passed away recently, but he was a priest when I was a kid at my church, and he always said that chickens were very important in a community, and especially roosters. He said that the cock crowing was Jesus's way of communicating with community leaders, people who make decisions. He was a very spiritual man, and he told me that it was important for this community to have roosters because they would, I guess he saw some connection with the way Jesus would say things to his apostles, like his apostle Peter. He says, "You'll deny me 3 times before the cock crows." And so Jesus he definitely used the roosters in his biblical preaching. So Father Nick felt that banning the roosters from the community was like banning Christ from the community. That's the way I interpreted what he said. And I knew him really well because, you know, I grew up in this neighborhood, and this is the neighborhood where he lived. And so I spent a lot of time communicating with him outside of school, growing up here, visiting him. The great guy, wise man. He was a wise man at this church right here. So you gotta watch out for traffic right here. gone 15.8 miles. By the time we're done, how's it going? We'll have done an even 16. Now it's starting to rain, so hopefully, like if your field of vision is blurry, it's because there's raindrops on the lens. Yeah, it's definitely misting on me. That may be clouding y'all's vision. .97 gives you down to the 100th of a mile. 15.98, that's how many miles we've gone. 15.99. 16, we've gone 16 miles. All right. I'm gonna pull over, stop. Whew. Take my helmet off. All right, it's still working, so there is a lot of water on the screen. If I'm blurry, it's because of the rain. Thanks for joining me on this ride. We did it. 16 miles, same route that I was trying to do the night I got hurt, the night I got in the wreck. Somebody did run me off the road, so that felt good to get that knocked out. Thank you guys for joining me. And I'm gonna turn off. Well, actually, I'm gonna see how much battery. Okay, I got quite a bit of battery. What I did with this phone is, or it's not a phone, with the GoPro is I taped on an auxiliary backup battery onto the top of my helmet. So we still got plenty of battery left. I could probably go another hour, so. But I'm gonna have to put a bigger backup battery on there for a longer ride, so. A much longer ride. If I wanna do one of those 10-mile rides like I was talking about, or 10-hour rides like I was talking about, so. All right, see y'all later, bye-bye.